Chapter 17. Not easy. The day was wearing on much faster than Sky, with no word from Tom. She pulled her phone out of her back pocket. 2 bars of service, that was a lot nowadays. She couldn't pass up the opportunity to get in touch with her family. Her hands shook as she tapped her parents' numbers on her phone. What kind of news would there be? She hoped for the best, but still worried about her mother's raspy cough. The phone clicked. Dad? Her father sounded tired but happy to hear from her. Hi, baby girl. You doing okay? Warm relief washed over Sky when she heard his voice, then rushed to tell him her news. Yes, I'm fine, Dad. Really good. We have everything we need. You still with those boys? Yes. I am, all safe and sound. How about you? Doing okay. We've been going into the neighbors for food, the empty houses, plenty of those now. I can't imagine us hungry anytime soon. We are just trying to pass the time. There's not a whole lot to do with no TV or newspapers, but someone is running the radio station here. Sky imagined that her father, with his limited mobility, wouldn't have much to keep him occupied in the suburbs. We've been busy here, Dad. The Coles are teaching Jessie and me more about fishing, some of the edible plants around here, and self-defense. That takes a good part of the day. Smart, her dad said, those boys are smart. You keep that up, girl. It'll keep you alive. That's what I was thinking. We also scavenge some and check on the neighbors. You don't get close, do you? Her dad's voice sounded nervous. No, we yell at them across the yard. Some places up here are empty. People got sick or moved away, but some families are making it through this thing. How about our neighborhood in Ohio? The street is getting empty between those getting sick and others leaving to be with family, but some stayed put and are doing okay. How's everyone in the family, Dad? When her dad hesitated, Sky asked. Can I talk to Mom? Sky sensed something was wrong the minute she asked. Typically, one to hand the phone straight over to her mother, it was out of character for her dad not to even offer it to her. The longer the silence stretched, the more nervous Sky became. When her father did speak, he didn't say what she hoped. Sky, I didn't want to tell you this over the phone, but there isn't any other way. We've had some losses. Sky's heart seized, and she bent forward. She had tried to prepare herself, but it hadn't worked. She'd told herself that everyone lost someone to this thing, and she was no different. The pain sliced through her just the same. Tears spilled down her face, she knew what was coming. Dad gasped out the words. Your mom, she's gone. She didn't suffer like some. It was quick. Quick was something to be grateful for. Sky couldn't imagine her despair if her mother wandered the streets disoriented and lost. Her father sobbed, and though Sky wanted to comfort him, she couldn't control her own gasps. They cried together for a while, Sky clutching the phone as if it were her father's hand. Oh, Dad. Sky ran a hand down her face and wrapped her arm across her aching body. I know, baby, I know, he said with a catch in his voice. When he got control of himself, her father said, your sister-in-law is still here with me. Bobby and Janie were here too. We were doing okay, but Janie ran out the other night. She got upset about everything. Bobby ran after her. They haven't come back yet. Charlotte is beside herself with worry. The door of the cabin opened and shut behind her, but Sky paid no attention as she brought her hand up to wipe her eyes. What? Dad, no. When did this happen? Going on 3 nights ago now, I guess. It doesn't mean they're not coming back, though. We're still hoping that they will. Sky rubbed the growing ache in her chest with her palm. You need me, Dad, she said in tears. There was a brief hesitation before her father said, "I need you safe even more, that means the world to me." "I can be there in a few hours," Sky said. "If I have a full gas tank, I won't even have to stop. I'll help find Bobby and take care of you." "No, baby. You can't come, it's too dangerous. We can't know what the roads are like between here and there. Promise you will stay there." "Dad." Sky shook her head. "Promise me," he demanded. "I hate to say it, but there's nothing you can do here. Charlotte and I are either going to get sick or we're not. Bobby and Janie are going to come home or they ain't. You coming here won't affect any of that." "Don't say that." She whispered the words. There was no denying the truth of what he said, but there was more to it. He was a weaker man than he'd been as she grew up. Now he often sat in his recliner, a cane resting against his leg. He had battled cancer and won, but it had taken a toll. "He needs me. My dad needs me. Sky baby, please listen to me. Don't make me worry I'll lose you too." Sky struggled but gave in. "For now, I'll stay here. I will check in every day I have a signal, but my cell phone won't work much longer. It's a miracle it's worked this long. Maybe Dylan can help me find a landline. Hopefully, that will work, so it may be a different number next time." Her dad breathed a sigh of relief. "Okay, sounds like a good deal. Now put that boy on." "Surprised?" she said. "Jesse?" "Not the little one. The man. Dylan." Still confused, she said, Okay." She turned to start for the front door only to see Dylan leaning against the cabin. Sky said her goodbyes, and sent her love to Charlotte, then passed the phone to Dylan with a shrug. He took the phone as she tried to quiet her grief. Dylan's side of the conversation was short and to the point. There was a "glad to meet you" and a lot of "yes, sirs" and few things that didn't make much sense to her, a goodbye, then he hung up. When Sky sent Dylan a questioning look, and he just shrugged. "Real sorry about your mom," he said. Sky nodded and sobs welled up. Dylan moved closer and reached a hand out to her. She moved to him and let his arms give her the comfort her father's could not. Sky tossed and turned all that night. She had promised a couple more days, but the feeling she should be with her father continued. They were her family, all she had left. All the reasons she shouldn't go rolled through her head, followed by all the reasons she should, over and over, through those dark hours. Grief for her mother tumbled with fear for her father. What was the last conversation she'd had with her mom? Probably a normal call about everyday things. If she would have known it would be the last time, she would have said so much more. Mom was aware she loved her. Sky knew her mom loved her in return. It wasn't about that, it was about a conclusion, a finish. For now, anyway, for herself. She believed she would see her mom again someday, that she would be happy and healthy again, but Sky still felt the sharp pain of her loss. Now it was just Charlotte and her dad in their house in Ohio. How worried Charlotte must be about Bobby and Janie. Her sister-in-law must long for the comfort of her own family. If Sky could get to her dad, that would allow Charlotte to go to hers. They lived just a half-hour away, and she could easily make it. The situation was dire. Charlotte was not a strong woman, and a man with a cane wouldn't fend off the sick or anyone else trying to do him harm. Even I'm better than that. Sky stopped tossing and turning and her sobs turned to steady breathing as she made her decision. She had no choice. Her dad needed her. She was all he had left. She had to go. The now familiar sound of Dylan putting on a pot of coffee came to her. Somehow, she would have to tell him, tell all of them. They would think her foolish, stupid even, and they may be right. This is not going to be easy.
Dylan poured the water into the back of the coffee pot as Sky's bare feet padded across the floor. He was aware of what was coming. She didn't need to say a word, he'd heard her tossing and turning all night. He turned and watched her come the rest of the way. Her head bowed, arms hugging herself to ward off the chill, dark hair tousled from her troubled night. Sky yawned, covering her mouth with one hand before lowering it back to her arm. She looked up at him, her green eyes wide and sad. This ain't gonna be easy. How he would keep his promise to her father to hold her here, he didn't know. Dylan picked up an Afghan off the couch that an old neighbor lady had kindly given them and wrapped it around her cold body. First things first. Might as well get this over with.